Welcome to the show, homies. For those of you who don't know, I've been raised in Southern California for my whole life. Been here since the 70s. And beginning of 2025, we had the tragic wildfires that not only affected individuals, but actually infected entire communities. I've been getting lots of updates from everybody, both professionally and personally, for months now. And I was trying to find the right way to talk to you guys about this. Well, I ended up finding these two incredible women, these sisters, Claire and Sam, who survived the wildfires while they watched their entire community get completely destroyed. We're not just talking about a few homes here or there. We're talking about full neighborhoods that were burned down to the ground. They have a pretty incredible story, and I thought this would be a great platform to share it. To not only see their incredible perseverance, their will, and their just motivational vibe, but also to understand how individual communities can be affected and how tragedies, no matter what they are, when you're a homeowner, there are solutions. And most importantly, there are wonderful people that are going to be able to help everybody, because when you are a homeowner, you're not just a person who lives on the street, you're part of the community. So let's check it out. This is going to be a little interesting today. As you probably heard, we've had some rough times here in California. Now, we're no strangers to natural disasters here. And I also understand that many of you have been dealing with some really, really horrific weather situations, whether it be tsunamis or hurricanes. I know a lot of people have had many questions about what do you do in a time like that? What does that do to relocation, property values, all of that stuff? So we had mudslides and earthquakes and fires in the past here in Southern California, but this most recent event that happened to us completely devastated an entire neighborhood. Not a few homes, not a part of a tract, like an entire community. And it was two of them. So I was reached out to and got a look at this story. And I've got two realtors that lost their home. And Claire and Sam are these incredible realtors that do fantastic in this community. And pretty much the whole community's gone now. So I wanted to take this time to hear their story. I think it's very intriguing. I think you'll enjoy it. And I think it's an opportunity for us to figure out that homeownership, while the most stable way for you to accrue wealth in your life, you may have these things that get thrown your way. And I just want to see how these wonderful gals dealt with adversity. So first of all, Claire and Sam, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, David. It's really nice to be here.
Okay, first question. Where are you right now, since you don't have a home?
We are in my new house in Santa Monica. So we were living in Palisades and now we're in Santa Monica. Sam's house actually didn't burn down. She was evacuated, but she was in Santa Monica already. So
yeah, now we're just closer.
Okay, so Sam, you were already there in Santa Monica. And Claire, tell us the story then. Because you lost your whole house, correct?
Yeah. So we were at a sales meeting on the morning of January 7th. We took a video of ourselves with our hair blowing in the wind because we were so shocked at how strong the winds were that morning. We heard it's like, when did Princess Diana die? And that moment when I heard there's a fire off Las Lomas. Those are kind of two things that will always stick with me. Heard that. And I remember I said, that's not good. It's not good. Because we had had so many warnings about these hurricanes.
And I mean, the meeting, it was the first meeting of the year. So our manager in our office it was like very uplifting. Like 2025 is going to be such a great year. Yeah. It was like this really like uplifting, positive meeting. Claire and I were like setting our goals, like really just excited. And that's another reason we took the video is we're like, document our first meeting of the year. And then as literally 10:30 on the dot, that meeting ends and you just hear whispers of this fire that had broken out. And Claire like locked onto it first. And I kind of was like, wait, because her father-in-law lived near where it started. And I was like, then it kind of like clicked and we sort of like went into the mode.
So my husband called me, said, let's go. We're going to get my father-in-law packed up and out of the house. And it's just so funny in hindsight, because hindsight being 2020, that was so crazy for us to drive in that direction. Especially after we heard about the people that got stuck during trying to evacuate. My husband went, we ended up just doing a U-turn because it was already the traffic was bad. That was right around 11 and went back to my house because that was the safe house. That was where we were all going to meet. But then I got to my house and my nanny was like, no, like we have to leave. So she's packing my 9-month-old into the car and my dog. So then we decided to go to my parents' house. Anyway, we all ended up, my father-in-law, his carer, a bunch of people were just in a little 2-bedroom apartment. Samantha got evacuated. So we were all in this 2-bedroom condo and watching the news. And I just remember seeing one of my best friends, I watched her house burn down. And she lives really close to where I lived. And that was that moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Mm-hmm. I can't believe it. And actually for your listeners, one of the things that I've always said is that, anyways, fast forward, we thought our house was saved on Tuesday night. It was, our neighbor saved it the next day because they ran out of water. There weren't any firefighters in our area and there were spot fires. So over 100 structures burned actually the day after the fire. And ours was one of them. And we have multiple videos of our house burning down because people were driving through to see the destruction. And then they were taking videos. And so all those videos we saw of our house burning down, just burning for 3 hours, no firefighters because they didn't have any water. But what I always say, so that burned. And then the reason we were living there is because we had another house that we were building. So my father-in-law's house burned down, my house burned down. And then this other house, of course, didn't burn down, even though we're planning to tear it down. But we always say we made the right decision to buy while we were building this house because otherwise we were just throwing rent down the toilet. Our house had appreciated. We were feeling really good. And up until January 7th, it was the best decision we ever made. But that's why it's really important to make sure you have good insurance. Yeah.
Wow. So many things to unpack there. And oh my God.
And we're laughing. We're to the point where we're like laughing. But yeah, it was
a crazy day.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, it was one of those things that I wanted to have some people on the podcast talking about some of the things that we could do to help people. But truly, the news was changing every day. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, if it takes a week to produce the podcast, my information on the assistance is going to be different by the time it airs. So, not being a live medium, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. But sharing your story, because my gosh, guys, I saw this. And guys, I'm talking to the listeners in your ear holes. I saw the videos. They were like grabbing videos of other people who were like, oh my God, look at the devastation. And then they grabbed it and were like, yeah, that's my house, dude.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And the video of them going to their sales meeting, it was bonkers around here. Everyone was telling us it's going to be insane, but nobody knew where the fires may begin. Mm-hmm. We were just told everybody be careful. So for a minute, it was just this weird thing where we all were walking around in this crazy wind. I was sitting in my home office with it sounded like a horror movie with, I'm down hour south of you in Orange County. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, the insurance thing we're going to get to. So once this happened to you, the thing I tell all my listeners is options. Whether you're planning to purchase your own home or whether you're trying to do everything so it's on, perfectly timed up with your lease, don't do that. Give yourself 2 weeks, give yourself a month, double pay supposedly, which you really don't because rent pays forward and mortgage pays backwards, which I've told you guys. But yes, having the extras, having the options, I talk about it as a way to make sure that you get the best deal. But man, talk about the safety and security. You had your whole family that were able to get together. I don't want to, feel like I'm trying to go directly at your emotions, but Claire, what did you and your husband think when you were going to help your father-in-law and suddenly realized, holy crap, we need to figure out about our house?
We knew that we would have to evacuate. I never thought it would burn down, really. So, my joke, if you can call it a joke, I think it's gallows humor, but my joke is like, I thought I was being dramatic taking 2 pairs of underwear. I certainly didn't bring anything like sentimental that you would bring. When you think about what would I take if my house was burning down? Yeah. None of those things. I never took any of those things. Thank God we have passports and birth certificates. We did take those things. But the hardest part for me, I think everybody was in shock. The whole world was in shock, really. Anybody who's been to the Palisades was in shock because it's, I think sometimes you see these things happen somewhere else and it just feels like this remote town, like Paradise, for example. I'd never heard of it. I grew up in California. So I just thought, oh my gosh, like they must have expected something like that to happen. Whereas Palisades is just not what you'd think. Same with Altadena. So we were certainly in shock. And there was a moment the morning after where my husband was sitting next to me and we were both shaking at the same time, but talking as if nothing was going on.
Yeah.
It was a really weird and surreal breakfast that we had at the LAX Marriott.
Oh my God, that Marriott will go down in history for this family. We just all were like walking around like zombies.
Yeah,
I had like multiple dogs, babies, and it was like safety.
The emotion part for me is really in the feeling of displacement. And that's, I think, what has been the most striking part of this experience has been the feeling of not knowing where your children are going to sleep is like, it's completely indescribable. And it's so hard to talk about with anybody who's not also gone through it. And I feel really lucky that I know so many people going through the same thing at the same time, and that I'm able to help people going through the same thing at the same time. Mm-hmm. But it's just such a distinct feeling. It's not like anything I've ever felt before. And I don't even think it's just because I have kids to worry about. It's just the feeling in your body of not knowing like where home is. I mean, you choose to move, but when you're forced to move, it's a completely, we're so privileged in this country to not really experience that regularly. And so it's wild, a bizarre time.
It is. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like if you're a resident of the LAX Marriott, then something's wrong. If you're in LA, only reason I know it is because my kid auditioned for a New York college because that's where the audition was.
Oh, yeah, they have a big ballroom.
There is a big ballroom.
Yep. Yeah.
So they got it all.
And I pass it all the time, but it's not the comfort and familiarity that you want. Like, why would I stay here? I have a house.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, so one of the things that I thought was really interesting in hearing your story is, you guys are embedded in that community. You're, a really fun, spunky team. And bear in mind, spunky to me is like the highest compliment I can give.
We take
I'm down to be spunky. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because you're spunky and smart. And that's the thing that drew me. So talk to me about what you guys did immediately afterwards, because you're the resource for a lot of the people in the community, and everybody must have been sitting in their own breakfasts shaking. Mm-hmm. So what were the actions that you guys took, and what resources and things were you letting people know about?
I mean, I think it was interesting because Claire was like going through it and I was going through it, but not directly. So she was dealing with get my family to safety. I'm obviously concerned about my family, but then I'm hearing from all these people that obviously know Claire and all of our clients in the community asking for help, but not wanting to bother Claire. But of course, Claire can bond with them because she gets what they're going through. So there was a few days of just like, oh, have you talked to so-and-so? Have you talked to so-and-so? It was just like mayhem. I mean, everyone deals with a crisis like this so differently. And Claire went into like fully like mama bear mode, like figured out the rental situation. And not everyone could do that. And the rental market obviously got so competitive. So like our biggest priority was make sure Claire and her family are okay, and B, help anyone we can, but not in a way that we want to like profit off this by any means. So anyone that reached out, here's a list of that we know about, like these are people to call. Like it wasn't a situation where we're going to try to, let's rep you in this rental, because it was so competitive. It was just not, yeah. So we just really focused on trying to help as many people as we could, but it did become so overwhelming at some point that it was, you kind of just have to like help steer and send options. But because so many people were in the exact same position, it felt really like impossible and really sad at times. But our main focus was just sending all the resources we could, mostly to do with housing and also like donations as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was helpful to me once I figured out where I was going to live, it was helpful to me to feel busy. So I really am happy with that we were able to help so many people find housing as well. I was in competition with them at first, but then once I won that competition, then I was happy to help them.
I was like, Claire was like really, really working hard. And I was like, I feel like there's a breakdown coming. I don't know. But like genuine, I feel like helping others really helped you.
Yeah.
So.
Gosh, I hear from so many people that they talk about, your realtor can be your therapist. And I understand that. I also believe that there are a lot of people, and that's why I try to separate and explain to my people. There's why I call the group that we will recommend to people unicorn realtors, because it really is that unique combination of empathy plus business savvy and compassion. Mm-hmm. And I could see how Claire just completely got, some of those people needed someone who got it. Mm-hmm. And it's in such a strange way. I understand why your story got out there and why I heard about you, because you guys were the perfect combination of, empathy and understanding. And then Sam could just like get down to the nitty gritty, because I know, Sam, you were looking at the same emails I saw every single day. The California Association of Realtors was sending us a new update like every 4 hours. Mm-hmm. Now there's this thing. Now there's this thing. Now there's this.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how being more than just a door opener, by being a community, activist is the wrong word, but by being someone who's so involved with the community, you're not just helping people buy and sell real estate, but you're really the two of you are the people who rally the community together. Talk to me about how being that type of individual was helpful for all of the friends and clients that you had.
Sam and I both really have an abundance mindset, if you'll forgive me for that term, but we are always sharing, and we feel like we don't really feel in competition with anybody. Mm-hmm. We've always really worked to have strong relationships with other agents, and that means sharing and collaborating. And so that really came in very handy for us in this instance, because, the woman who I rented my house from is actually a colleague who I've had great experiences with. And then just for us working with so many friends who lost homes, we were able to really, leverage that, mm-hmm. those relationships and that experience that we have. We also have people in our office that have been in the Palisades longer than either of us have been alive. And so having the access to the resources that they provide has been really beneficial for our clients, because, for example, the Pacific Palisades Community Council has been a wealth of knowledge. I've been on every Zoom that they've done, and just, it's actually really galvanized this feeling in me of wanting to become a stronger, more civically involved in the Palisades as the rebuild happens. Everybody's so concerned about what will come now, and I definitely want to be a part of that conversation. So we've just felt really lucky to be in a community of like-minded people.
Did you grab all your friends and clients and go to Target so you could all buy underwear? What were those first couple of days like?
Actually, I did have somebody who dropped off at the hotel that I was at, like 4 Target bags full of things, because I have a baby who's still in diapers, and with drinking bottles. And she just knew everything that I would need and didn't ask me what I would need, just went to Target, bought it, brought it to the hotel, didn't even see her. She just dropped it at the front desk. And that was like that could bring tears to my eyes to think about. Those people that showed up in those first few days were so like, that was such, and I mean, I don't know that I would know how to show up for if I were in the opposite position. I was just so impressed by that.
Yeah, I think that's what I've heard a lot. And like, obviously with a sister going through this, is don't ask, what can I do to help? Just help, just do something. Because so many people also texted me like, hey, what does Claire need? And I'm like, that's like a big responsibility. Like, I think right now she needs shelter, but like she also needs underwear, like it's like, just whatever you can do, just do. And like, I mean, Claire has such amazing people around her, and like they all stepped up to the plate. So it's kind of like, okay, like Claire's good. Like I can focus on other things because she has such a great community around her.
Okay, so as realtors in a community that was burned to the ground, what has your business been like? Is every day not just helping people buy and sell homes, but still working with people in the rebuilding process?
Yeah. Well,
I think, I mean, it's been heavy on the real estate agent is also a therapist. The last, like we had some clients, I mean, again, everyone deals with these things differently. Some clients threw money at the problem and they wanted, I mean, we have some clients, we found them a house immediately because the wife is having a baby in 2 months and their house is actually still standing, but they didn't want it. It was like the only house on the block and they wanted to have more like stability and obviously a safer environment for their newborn. So we're just kind of meeting people where they're at. And some people obviously have better insurance than others or different financial situations. So every day is different. Like we're now helping people who had a rental in the Palisades that have now decided, okay, we're obviously not moving there. So do we buy now? Do we invest in certain areas? Because I think if you have that, if you're able to like look ahead and kind of like, a lot of people lost their homes. Investing in real estate right now is in the right area is a smart financial decision in our opinion. So it's been really interesting to kind of like cycle through where all these different people are at in their mindset. And sometimes people don't have the acceptance of the situation. Oh, it's just smoke damage. I'll be back in a few months. Or, oh, I can rebuild in a year and live there again. I think reality is setting in. Everyone's on a different timeline. So it's been really kind of interesting to work through that with our clients in particular, and just people that we've met through like your giant now support group.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there are people reaching out in all their different phases of, what they're trying to go through. Have you, I have to ask this because I'm sure it's on everyone's mind. Have you personally run into the horror hell stories with insurance, or what can you tell us about the insurance side of things for, God forbid, for the people that are thinking about buying a home? What are some of the lessons that this terrible tragedy could be something that we could help other people in the future?
I have a lot of thoughts.
I was going to say, this is Claire's question.
Okay. Hit me. Let's go for it. Run down the bullets.
Well, okay. So in the Palisades, State Farm pulled out.
Yes.
They said they were going to non-renew as of June of last year. So we were non-renewed in November. So our house was under California Fair Plan, but we also got a wraparound, and we still weren't fully insured for the value of our home, but we are okay. What I've heard from other people is some people just not getting fire insurance at all because Fair Plan is only insures up to $3 million. And so people thought that, oh, well, my house is worth $3 million, so I can't do that. But you could at least have had $3 million of coverage. So that is just working with not a good agent.
Yeah.
And then 2, some people just having fair plan and not understanding that they could have a wraparound. I mean, there's people in the Palisades that have already been cut a check for the entire value of their home. They were paying a ton for insurance, but like you can insure your home. You're going to have to go to a not admitted market and you're going to have to spend a lot of money, but it's very important to do so, because if it burns down, you're only left with the value of the lot. And what we're seeing now is that
Wait, say that again, because a lot of these people our listeners are never gotten into this before, never owned a home.
Yeah.
When the home burns home, your insurance covers the value of the what?
Well, so there's 2 things. If you don't have insurance, then you just have the value of the land that your home was on. But
the land, the lot.
And if you do have insurance, it covers the dwelling, but not the lot. So, for example, my neighbor, a lot of the houses in our area, we were in the Alphabet Streets. It's the area that you see that looked kind of like bombed out, where it's just like fully raised.
Yeah.
She had a big lot and a little original house, probably from the 60s or 70s. That house, I don't know what it cost her, probably $100K when she bought it 40, 50 years ago. It was now, her lot was worth $4 million. Her house was maybe 1,200 square feet.
Yeah,
probably would be insured for maximum $1 million, like on a really good day.
Yep.
There's a delta there of $3 million that's not covered, that she has to hopefully make up with the sale of her land. But as I was saying, we're seeing, there's going to be a lot of lots hitting the market, and supply will
supply and demand
inevitably, but there's a lot of demand as well. So we're really hopeful that the prices will hold, maybe not to like pre-January 7th value, but still pretty good.
Well, I think one of the lessons of a tragedy is that when people are looking to buy their first home and they're looking at PITI and they start running those numbers, I mean, the biggest problem that I see on my podcast for first-time home buyers is people wait too long to call us. And I mean, I have 6 years of data. 72% of the people that reach out to how to buy a home and say they're 12 to 24 months out close on their home, or actually they go under contract in 3.2 months.
Oh, wow.
So everybody's waiting too long. And it's the biggest reason I hear is because they don't want to bother the real estate agent until they've got all their ducks in a row. Their heads nodding for those of you listening. We know this. This is why I've spent 6 years doing this podcast. But here's the wonderful combination lesson we get out of this. Number 1, look at the empathy, compassion, and care of these sisters, the work they've put in the community. Do you think they'd be bothered if you reached out and said, I really think I want to try to buy a home, but I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't think I can do it for a year? No, they're going to help you just the way they've helped everybody else. They're going to help you on that path. And then the second thing is climate, and the climate disasters are changing the way insurance is all over the entire country. PITI, that last I, you can't figure that out just because you found a home on Zillow and you want to go look at it this weekend and then get your loan approved that same weekend. That could take a year. All that stuff that Claire was talking about, if you don't know what a wraparound policy is, or you don't understand how policy covers land and not the bill, that takes a year of conversation. And these wonderful people like this won't be bothered. So wonderful little lesson there. Any other insurance nuggets, Claire?
No.
Did you do your own podcast on it yet?
No.
I mean, I will like insurance. It's funny, even pre-January 7th, insurance in LA and especially these neighborhoods of LA, it wasn't
easy.
It was expensive and not easy. Like we work with,
oh yeah. It's been a story, State Farm leaving and all that. I mean, this has been a story for 2 years in LA.
Yeah.
And years before that, I mean, we had people that lost their homes in San Diego, and it was just different because it didn't catch an entire neighborhood.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always been tough. You were saying, Sam.
Well, yeah, I'm just pointing out that insurance is always something that you got to wrap your brain around. And we work with great people because now especially we know that you might need that insurance someday. So it's always worth the extra effort and the extra conversation.
I think it's in many ways, I mean, I will reduce this down to the silly, but it's like, sometimes it's like car insurance. Yeah, you can go and call Flo or the Gecko or whoever and get the cheapest car insurance. But if your car is totaled,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so if that monthly principal, interest, taxes, and insurance feels like it's too much, then take 6 months back and figure out how to, because you don't want to chintz out on your insurance just to make your monthly number.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a terrible situation for what you guys have been going through. But it's very important for everyone to understand all the pieces of what you're doing with home ownership and where it can take you, but also where you can slide to if things aren't set up correctly. Well, this has been such an amazing conversation. Is there anything else that you want to? Well, hey, let's do this. You guys are real estate agents. Talk to me about what you guys see for first-time home buyers and some of your best tips for people trying to buy their first home.
I actually did just have a little bit of a follow-up when you said that they don't want to bother real estate agents.
Oh, great. Go with that.
Well, another thing that I've noticed with first-time home buyers in particular, but the home buying population at large, is not wanting to be tied to a specific agent, which I completely understand. But I would just advocate for maybe interviewing 3 or 4 agents, talking to different people, just sort of seeing, like doing a vibe check, as Sam would say. Because having an agent in your corner who cares about you finding the right place, they're not going to, if you just go direct to a listing agent, they're just going to sell you the house that you're standing in. Mm-hmm. They're not going to talk to you about the neighborhood or resale value or why, that block is actually an HPOZ and this one isn't. And that means this is devalued, but you're looking at that one for comps, there's a lot of things that you need to understand as a buyer. And I would just really recommend having your own representation and getting that representation early. We work with clients. We literally just met with a client that we've been working with for 2 years.
Yeah.
We love him. We're gonna find him the right house.
It's gonna 2025 is the year.
Yeah. But there's no rush on our part. No. We just really appreciate him wanting to hear from us and wanting to know what we think about things. And we really give him a full analysis of every house that he sees. Mm-hmm. So I think that's in my opinion, if I were talking to a first-time home buyer, I would really recommend when you first bought a house, you had an agent.
Yeah.
Really.
Because I think it's, yes, there's someone in your corner, but it's also might be someone you're spending a lot of time with. So you do want to make sure that they not only care about your needs, but you enjoy spending time with them and you respect their opinion. I mean, even this guy that's been looking for 2 years, he always wants to make sure
that both have seen
it. We have both seen it, and we agree that the quality of construction is at a certain level and things like that. So yeah, we're very passionate. When people think, oh, I'm just going to go direct and get a good deal, you're always leaving money on the table. Like
I totally agree.
It's really not beneficial for you in the short term or long term.
I've been consistently warning anyone who would listen to me that if you're going to a listing agent, they were already hired and it wasn't by you.
Exactly.
And so who are they going to be advocating for at the highest level?
Totally. Yeah.
Not to mention they're probably a farmer, which means there are people that are geographically attempting to sell that area, which means they want to sell the home for the highest price, mm-hmm. which is not in your benefit if you're the buyer. But what is really interesting to me is one of the things that I've learned now, and I've held focus groups with, I'm a Gen Xer, but I've held focus groups with millennials and Gen Zs to kind of kick me in the ass and let me know what they're really thinking. And the vibe check is important, but what happens is people spend 10 times more of their time researching how to get the best interest rate and how do I figure out things on Zillow so I can look at all the homes, and they look at all that. I'm like, no. You want to spend all that time researching who you're going to hire, mm-hmm. because it isn't just one thing. It's like you said, Sam, you need that person who you're going to spend a lot of time with, but you also have to find their professionalism. So people will interview 1 or 2 people, and if they vibe with the second one, they go with them. And then the problem is, well, wait a minute, did you check their credentials? Did you vet them? Are they good at their job? Mm-hmm. So interview a few and then find the combination with the vibe check and the professionalism. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Now, I know you probably haven't had a chance to poke your head out at what's going on in the market because you're helping your entire community pick up the pieces. But for 2025, where are you seeing things going for the new fresh home buying community?
In LA specifically, or all across the country?
All across the country. We got homies everywhere. Although what's crazy is we have a ton of people that are buying $1 million homes in San Francisco because they like podcasts up there. They're all tech folks. And we found a lot of people finding value. Condos are dropping like crazy in downtown San Francisco. And then in San Jose, single family homes are still very competitive. But, we've got people in the $400,000 and $500,000 and $600,000 range. Obviously, like I said, you guys are in this crazy bubble right now. But as you were headed into that sales meeting with all that optimism, what were you guys looking for in 2025?
We were looking forward to a more robust market. I mean, a lot of people have been feeling really stuck in their homes, and what we have been seeing is that those higher interest rates are starting to become a little more baked in and accepted, and that people are starting to want to move on to the next house and actually sell their homes. I mean, the market was slow, but it was slow because nobody was selling. I mean, we were working with plenty of people that wanted to buy a house, but just didn't feel like the right house was available to them. So we're really looking forward to this year still. It's been sort of an insane start, but it does feel like the proof is in the pudding. It's happening.
Yeah, I think even people waiting on the sidelines, sorry to be so specific to LA, but people that were waiting on the sidelines are now like,
right.
Now I have way more competition. So I think that just speaks to a bigger thing of, if you're ready and you feel comfortable and you have done all the research and you're ready to buy, it might not be, I don't want to say, we love to find the perfect fit for people, but sometimes you just kind of have to take the leap to get on the ladder because you never know what might happen in the future. Yeah. And trying to time the market and have this crystal ball has basically never worked out for any of our clients. You're always going to chase the market if you do that.
Yeah.
So we just feel like so passionate about finding your house, and as long as it works for you, and doing it as soon as you can.
Yeah, I also always tell the story of my house that burned down that I'm so sad about. I was like, ugh.
No, she didn't really like the house.
This house was fine. It's a good investment, whatever.
It was a great
investment.
Then
I moved in and I was like, wait, this is a great floor plan. And I love this street. And I think that
that's interesting.
It becomes your home, and your home.
You didn't vibe with it, but then you vibed with the neighborhood and the floor plan over time.
Yeah, because it was also where I brought my babies home, and it was, it's your home, and it's where memories are made. And whether or not you like the paint colors, I mean, those are all, you could change those anyways, but the style of the house was a Cape Cod. I don't really like Cape Cod houses, but it was like, that's just so inconsequential when it comes to actually living your life. So I really recommend that people kind of look forward into what it means to have a house and to have a home and to feel kind of the four walls around your memories. I mean, that sounds really cheesy, but that's kind of, it does feel like when you lose a house, you sort of think about housing and homes in a different way, and the fact that they kind of house where you live your life.
Yeah. We love that house.
That is such an interesting and such a wonderful perspective. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to have you guys on here today to help to get that perspective. This is an entire community that found a way. And for you, it's not going to be perfect this year, but do what you can and take your inspiration from them, especially if you feel like I'm beating you down right now. So ladies, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we are looking forward to watching you guys continue to come back. And thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
It was so nice meeting you.
Yeah, this was really lovely. Thanks for having us.
I really need to thank Sam and Claire for coming on the show and sharing their story. Just amazing. Not much more I could say. The California Fire Foundation is there if you're looking to help or if you know anybody who needs help. They've been doing tremendous work. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We'll see you next time, gang. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyaHome.com to get started.